everybody, I'm back out here in the shop and I'm going to show you something kind of cool. I have with me three 100-foot extension cords and I have some other cool stuff. Going to be a video on that. Look below the video. I'm going to put a link where you can get these and you'll get them at a little bit cheaper price, and this is going to shock you what we're doing here. I've got extension cords and I'm going to walk you over there to the house and I'm going to show you the gray matter setup. Now, it's been unhooked from there now for a while because we're now running it back in the back and it's using the other Chinese turbine. But we're using extension cords and I want to show you why we do it. Normally you use something like this, 6-gauge wire. But let's get over there right quick and I'll show you what we're talking about. All right, so you'll see this is the old setup that's in my office. And it had the voltmeter and the amps from the original gray matter turbine. There's 12-volt port, there's fuses, and lost the cover, and that right there was used for the brake. So I'll have to remove all this. That's cables for the computer, some of that in there. So there that is, there's the rectifier. So the power came in on those kind of cables. It ran 112 feet. This thing here would easily, that gray matter turbine would easily slam that 50 amps. And that's a lot. All right, so let's get over there and I'll show you why this wire will work. All right, now you just saw in the house where I showed you where these wires are going, and they originally came all the way. So let me get over here, all the way back from the shop. So we are 74 feet that it runs. Now, it ran from originally the turbine up there, which was gray matter, down and all the way back to the house, through the attic, 27 feet, down to what you just saw there, which was that rectifier. And this thing would produce 50, 60 amps. It would literally bury that meter numerous times. In windstorms, it just stayed buried. So it was handling about 65, 70 amps, which was about 900 watts of electricity for DC. And so you look up here, you see the camera line there, but these lower ones are the ones that are 3 of these extension cords I'm showing you here in the video. And they've been up there almost 8 years. They are starting to crack, but they still have the inner wire covers. And so they're still good. We're going to reuse and strip all that out, reuse all this, but this will come down and using 1 5/8 fence rail that has socketed ends on it. Let me show you that right quick. All right, here on the back of my truck, I have 1 3/8, which is what we will put AC voltage through, and you'll see the connectors there. And you'll be able to actually put a coating on this to make them waterproof. And then here is 1 5/8. This is fence rail. At your local fence or metal place, you can get these at 21 foot 4, 1 5/8 and 1 3/8. See the different sizes? You can get these. This is $21 here in Idaho, so I don't know where you'd be getting them at, but $21. It is a welded seam. This is very strong, and you can see the thickness there. Okay. And these here are $24. So 24 for the 1 5/8, 21 for the 1 3/8, and they'll socket together. So we're going to join a group of these to run between the house and the shop. This will be AC current, and this here, the bigger one, will be DC current as well as camera line. So I have 6 cameras out in the shop, and we'll have that for cameras and a DC running 6-gauge back to the house and dropping into that carport so we can balance the battery systems. There'll be more details on that in a future video. But let's go back to the wire, and I'm going to show you how and why you can use $20 100-foot extension cords to send a lot of power easily. All right, let's go. All right, so now you saw that. Anna Mae's still out here guarding the wire, and her and Emma and Katie. And what we have here is a real cool scenario. Now, you know that if you're going to run a wind turbine, and this is for people who run wind turbines, I don't suggest you do this with everything. You can actually do it with solar too. But if you're going to install, which you should, a minimum of 8-gauge wire for 100 feet, and you've seen that run, it's about 120 feet. I'm way over here in the shop, and I didn't even actually calculate up there in the top the distance that ran over here, but now you can see the wires running that direction instead of that direction, and the old wires are hanging right there. So what we've got here is we've got 100-foot outdoor rated general use extension cord, and make sure you buy the right kind. Now the Hyper Tough, they are 100% copper. That's Very important. You don't want copper clad on anything. So now, here we go. We have 3 16-gauge leads that are coming in this wire. Each one has the sheath around them, like I showed you up there. And then they have an outdoor rated. So this is actually UV protected, and this is UV. Those wires have been up there for a long time. And I mean, I get windstorms, I get unbearable amounts of sunlight because I'm at high altitude, and they're still good. So, I mean, if you see what I'm doing with that fence rail pipe, you can just imagine lifespan's going to increase drastically. So here's the deal. These 3 cords, 100 feet apiece, can transfer as much energy and power, basically, as 6-gauge, but instead of you spending roughly $150, you're going to spend about $65, I think, with tax. Big freaking difference. Now, you just basically cut the ends off, toss them, and you're going to take the wires, and let me show you this. Now, look carefully. I'm going to put a little picture here. Look at this picture. That picture is of your gauge calculation. So it's going to show you what a 16-gauge wire is, then multiply that times 3. And when you put them all together, you end up with about the same damn wire. Well, this is just a hair heavier, but there you go. Plus finer strand. So if you're thinking, well, I'll just buy welding cable, 6-gauge, and I will pay through the nose. So I want you to look over here. That's paying through the nose, guys. You don't want to do it. Now, another thing, I'm going to put this over here because I want to show you this part here in just a second. So stay tuned. Probably a long video, but I want to get really in depth about this. Now, I can run this 100 feet on a, say, 1,000 watt 24 volt turbine. Perfect. In fact, I can run a 2,000 watt 48 volt turbine. Perfect. No problem. And an 800 to 1,000 watt 12 volt. No problem. So, and I have been doing it for years. No problems at all. Now, it's just what it is. It's electrical wire. Electrical wire, electrical wire. Real expensive, pretty damn cheap. Now, you go down there and you get you some, there you go. That tells you that you can do this. So if you've got a wind turbine, you run this down your tower, over to your house, come up, make you a box, connect 3 wires together, into here, into here, into here, 3 different terminals, and then come off of it with some 6 or 8 gauge going to your rectifiers or your controllers inside, and you're done. You saved a ton of money because, you know, this is a lot of people. They're on a budget when they do this. So 300-foot rolls, cut the ends off, and do not do this. Don't use the connectors. Cut them off. Bare wires, good clamps, good heavy terminals. That's what you want. Now, over here in this little pile, this is cool. And I know I'm going to have a lot of people asking me what the hell. This is a big thing. This is a green energy wind turbine controller. And this is what you get with all the other ones. Both of them are for 500 watt turbines. Ouch. That one ain't no punk. Look at the link below the video. Green energy, 500 watt turbines. You see them in my other videos. Go look at my other videos. You will see a lot of wind turbine related videos. Who to pay attention to, who to ignore. This thing comes from Hurricane Wind Power out of either West Virginia or Virginia. I'm not positive. And it's a 63 amp, 3-phase, 1, 2, 3. And the way that I run this is neat. Rectifier, rectifier. My wires come in. Let me just grab these over here. My 3 wires come in. And what I do is I take my 3 wires that come in and I'll attach them here. And then I'll run me some 8-gauge jumpers over to this side. So you're coming in right here. And then I'm running my jumpers over to that side. From this side, I will come out and go to this rectifier. From this rectifier, depending on my wind turbine, you guys should ask, but for a 500 watt wind turbine, I usually run about 300 watts. These are 100 watts a piece, and I'll run 300. If it's a 24 volt turbine, same thing. 48 volt turbine, you can usually get away with running the 10 or 12 ohm. 24 volt turbine, 6 ohm, 2 to 3 to 4 ohm for the 12 volt turbine. And if I've got a 600 watt turbine and I'm in an area where it produces a lot, say it has hit 600, I'll run 400 watts. About 70% of your turbine's real actual peak results that it's ever had, that's what you'll use. So what happens is when you put this thing here over on divert or brake, this is a braking system. When you put it on brake, what it does is it takes that same power that normally would have shot down and went to your battery bank through this or through a controller. So it'd be a 3 wires through your controller or 3 wires to your rectifier. It would normally take that and go straight down that direction on 1, and 0 it would go nowhere. And over here, it takes it and feeds it through to here. This converts it to DC voltage, and this becomes the load. As if you have basically dead batteries, it's trying to charge. So what happens is your turbine normally will slow down under a heavy load. Your really low battery, say you got 8 volts on your 12 volt battery bank, the turbine's going to have a hell of a time turning. You need some solar coming in. Now, in this one's case, this prevents your turbine from burning up. So inside your turbine, you have what is a stator. Inside there is a stator. What will happen is if you buy one of those little switches called a wind turbine brake, you're going to burn your stator up. And the reason for that is because that switch is going to dead short energy, just like taking these 3 wires right here and just connecting them. And as that turbine tries to spin, if it gets in a big windstorm, it's just going to toast this thing. It's going to get so hot it can't cool down, and it's going to burn it. So the results are going to be very bad. But instead of that, you're going to divert it here. So the turbine can still spin at about 20% of its maximum rotational speed, and all the heat will go here. Most of the time, it won't hardly spin at all, but as it produces anything that you don't want, it'll go here. So in a storm, you click it over, goes into brake mode, and diverts to here. No storm, click it back over, it goes straight into the controller or battery bank. And you don't destroy your turbine. So just little tips on wind turbines. I really recommend that program right there, and cheap. And all these parts, everything I've done in the video here, I'll put below the video. And if you have any questions, ask a question. You know, I've got an 800 watt, 24 volt. What do I use? Just ask. I'll tell you. No problems. All right, guys, y'all be good. Anime still garden wire. Good dog.